lot of fun watching them do that. So let's hear from Coach Lang and company, and then we'll come back. We'll talk to him more here as Atlantic 10 Media Day continues.
Basketball program, we have head coach Billy Lang and student athlete Eric Reynolds. Coach, would you mind giving us a quick opening statement just on the, how your program is heading into the season?
Great to be here in D.C. This is a amazing environment, great arena, great town, great city. A lot going on right now in this city, and a great way to kick off, our seasons. I think our conference is really good. It deserves as much attention as any league in the country. We have amazing players. Should be competitive. I love our guys. I'm just focused on St. Joe's basketball, and it's just been a joy to be around these guys. It starts here with Eric Reynolds, one of the best leaders and human beings I've ever had the blessing to coach, and looking forward to getting going here soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. And we'll go ahead and open up for questions.
Hey, guys. Jonathan Tannemoto of the Inquirer.
Hey, John.
Good to see you, Billy. If each of you could answer this, I'd appreciate it. There's some buzz around this program. There has been all summer, and there is going into the season, and I'm sure there are expectations for you guys that come with that, and the poll is representative of that. Where do you put those expectations for this year, and how do you handle that in the locker room?
I mean, expectations is not even a word that's talked about, and so it doesn't matter. It's like, and I'm boring, so I'll just continue to be boring, but it's just not a word that we think about. It's not a word that's used in our program because we have them ourselves, and it's daily, it's day to day. And can you imagine if we just waited to have expectations in our program because other people had them on the outside? We've been wasting time, and we don't waste time. So to us, it's just every day is kind of the same day. What we do matters on a daily basis, and we don't even need to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't say it any better than Coach has because we know what people are saying around us. We're not really blind to it, but he addresses it every day in practice and say that we have our own goals and what we want to do within the team. So we try not to focus on any outside things.
Hey guys, Matt Moderno from the Believe in DMV Hoops podcast. Eric, for you being back in the DMV here, what's that like? And I guess the conference tournament being here in DC, is that extra motivation for you to bring it home in front of the family?
Yes, coming back home is always great. Having two teams in the conference, being here like George Mason and GW, so we get to play them here as well. But having the conference tournament back at home is great. I get to have a lot of family members come out, people that want to come to the games that maybe haven't seen me play in probably 4 years. So it's great to be back for sure.
Billy, with three guys back who average double figures, including the guy to your right, who's obviously player of the year material, just how much of a head start is that for you guys that you've had that many guys that have produced and contributed and played together on a pretty good team a year ago?
Yeah, continuity is helpful, and there's no way to hide that. And with that being said, you still have to do it. So the beautiful thing about teams is like you one new guy comes in and it makes everybody else still has to find ways to sharpen each other around that, and that's the beauty of each day, is the chance to grow more united. I would rather be in a position where you have three guys coming back that average double figures than not be in it, but I don't dismiss the fact that the daily work still has to be done.
I will poke at it in a slightly different way, Billy, if I may. Walking around campus, what's it feel like these days? Because I would imagine that at the very least the student body is excited.
Well, walking around campus is great right now because we have this new underpass that they put in called the Post Crossing. They literally drilled a hole underneath City Avenue to connect the Philadelphia side to the Lower Merion side. It's actually amazing, and we've got so much going on. We've got a practice facility that is going to be opened in either November or December. We have a brand new freshman dorm that's going up, so there's a lot going on. People are really distracted when it comes to walking on campus. Look, people that go to St. Joseph's usually found out about Hawk Hill from somebody that was older than them. You know, it's just kind of passed down that love for Hawk Hill, and a lot of that love is born out of somebody experiencing St. Joe's basketball. It could be as a youngster. And so we know that, you know, and I think people like the guys we have. People just connect with these guys because they're connective people, so people feel like a part of it. And so is there excitement? Sure, there definitely is, because we've got great guys and we've got some talented players.
Aaron Brazy from Big5Hoops.com. This is for Eric, and Billy, you can chime in too. Eric, your first team all-conference. Seth Greenberg just said you're one of the best guards in the country. You're closing in on the school's scoring record, the school's three-point record, all well-deserved. But I know you said in a podcast recently there's things that you're trying to improve on to work on your game. So I just wonder, where are you with your game right now, and what are things that you're trying to fine-tune to, like, get even to the next level, get even better?
Number one thing I would probably say, and he can attest to this, would be my defense, getting over screens more efficiently, and that goes with strength, I would say, putting more time in the weight room, and outside of defense, I would say getting my shot off quicker and finishing tall, as Coach would say, tell me to do. So just like small little details to sharpen my iron a little bit higher.
Eric,
I mean, he's so effective off the dribble, you know, because he's a threat to shoot off the dribble, which is a rarity. You know, most, if you had to go like shot chart profile, what is a defense, you know, willing to give up? They're going to say, you know, a contested long two or an off the dribble three, but it changes with him. Like everything's different with him. And so being able to attack off the dribble and then get inside the three-point line and then make the decision, you know, and that's the hardest part. It's not getting there. It's like, what do I do when I'm there? Does the defense come from under? Does it come from the perimeter? Am I shooting this? Am I taking one more dribble? And he's gotten better every year he's done it. I don't know, can you see those shoulders? Look at that. This dude put on crazy weight in the offseason, and he did it like the right way, you know, while still working on his basketball game. So I expect his defense to be better because it has to be better, and he knows that. But I think the next step for him is to stay aggressive and then become a consistent decision maker inside the three-point line.
Eric, wanted to ask you a little bit about Xavier and just what you thought of what he was able to do coming in as a freshman, and how much better you think he might be in year two.
Well, he was great his freshman year, as everybody's seen. I have nothing but confidence in my point guard. You know, he amazes me every day. He's very vocal in practice. He's really taken on that role. And having him with me is going to make a lot of things easier. And this year, he's also put on weight. I feel like he's become a lot more confident as well, even though he already pretty much looked confident last year. But this year, he, like I said, just taking on that role and really becoming a really, really effective point guard.
Perfect. Coach Lang, Eric, I'd like to thank you both for joining us today and wish you best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk more with Coach Lang in just a moment here, and there's a lot going on in Hawk Hill from what you've just heard there with him and Eric Reynolds.
Yeah, the underpass,
Right.
different things connecting different parts of the city. That's the best thing about going to school in the city, right?
Yeah.
Is there's always so much going on. There's someone to connect with, somewhere to go, something to do. You shouldn't be bored. But it sounds like his players, though, are also in the weight room. It sounds like everyone has put on some weight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they're going to have some, there's going to be a few targets on their back, I feel like, this year, too. You know, picking a third in the conference. We're going to ask Coach about that in a moment when we talk to him because, you know, it's just keeping everybody together, keeping them even keel, making sure, you know, as we always say, one game and not look ahead and read all the stuff because there is a lot of buzz surrounding this team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts with Billy Lang. It starts with him as the head, as the coach, and what he's able to do and where he can take this team. 6th season as the head coach, more than 23 years of experience, led the Hawks to 21 wins and an NIT appearance. I think they would like to continue their postseason runs.
Yep, and an overtime loss last year in the NIT to Seton Hall, who ended up winning the whole thing. Coach Lang's with us right now. Coach, thanks so much for being here, man. We appreciate it. There is a lot of excitement on Hawk Hill for both you and on the women's side, too, and we heard from Cindy. But speaking with your team here, I just loved, and we talked earlier this summer, but I just loved how you've kept everybody kind of, homegrown, right? I mean, you got players from New Jersey, New York, Maryland, Pennsylvania. You defend your home turf. You got a couple of transfers in, but you've really kept it close to home, and you've built it from the ground up, too, with freshmen as well. Excited to see what you guys can do this year.
Mike, it's great to hear from you. I put the headset on, and all of a sudden I heard he's been coaching for 23 years, which is a euphemism for old, and I'm grateful for that. Or older, maybe. And we've got great guys, Mike. You've met them. We represent a great university. There's a connection between our Hawk Hill community and the guys that are on our team. We often tell them, hey, you're the ambassadors for the university, and I'm hopeful that over time that connection has been strong enough that it has allowed us to recruit high school players, retain people because they believe their dreams can be accomplished here on Hawk Hill, and then attract the right people via the transfer portal, which is a normal part now of roster structuring.
Coach, continuing with the roster, you picked up Derek Simpson, a player transfer from Rutgers that was productive in his last season there, a team high 93 assists and steals. What are you expecting from him for you this season?
The main thing that we're focusing on with Derek is to just play with a boundless joy, because he loves basketball. And Derek was one of the first scholarship offers that we made in 2019. He was a rising sophomore at Lenape High School. We weren't able to get him the first time around, but we feel very familiar with his game. He's an attacker. He's kinetic energy. He's a great decision maker. He's unselfish, but he's a gamer. Like, he's not afraid to make the big play or take the big shot. So, him on the floor with Eric and X, I just want Derek to be Derek, and then the three of those guys, they're great players, so they'll figure out how to sharpen each other.
Yeah, and Coach, when you think about it, we know about, the knowns. These guys are phenomenal players. We talked about them, with Xavier, and you just said it, obviously, Reynolds, and, even Fleming. Who else, though, is going to have to kind of be that X factor, if you will, this year? Is it some of those freshmen that have become sophomores? Who's going to be a guy or two that you're going to, look to say, hey, we want to be a championship team? I'm going to need this out of you.
Yeah, it's not even about being a championship team. It's just about holding and elevating people to what we believe they can be. So regardless of what we think we can be, we need it from them anyway because they're in our program. You made reference to freshmen and sophomores. The bulk of our bench are going to be all freshmen and sophomores. So, guys like Sean Simmons and Anthony Finkley, who took minutes last year and gained valuable experience, can they raise their level of competitiveness night in and night out because they know what it takes, because they've been in those moments. We're excited about Dacier Haskins. He really attacked his redshirt year. We're super proud of what he did last year. I think he's a guy that, over time of this season will provide a lot for us, both on offense and on defense. He's very versatile.
Coach, what do you want the identity of this team to be? I often ask coaches this in the preseason because it's what you want it to be, and then sometimes it morphs into something else throughout the season. But ideally, what would you like the identity of this team to be?
That is such a great question, and really astute the way that you said how it changes. And so, to be honest, I leave identity up to you guys. Whatever you say we are, we are. In terms of the way you see it. For us internally, I want these guys to be competitive Hawks. I want them to be fundamental. I want them to be detailed. I want them to be in attack mode all the time on both ends. I want them to be united through both victory and defeat. That's enough. If we want to play fast, everybody knows that. We'd like to play faster than we've ever played. But as each day moves on, you don't know what will unfold, but in the present moment right now, we want to play super fast. I don't know what will happen. So identity to me is the same things we've been talking about since day one, which has been the things I just mentioned in terms of being a Hawk and being united.
Coach, last thing for me is, and I know when I caught you near maybe the midway point of the season last year, you guys started 10-3. You win the Big Five. You had an overtime loss at Kentucky. It was a phenomenal start. You say, hey, I got to keep these guys in check. I got to make sure that they're like on to the next game and not reading their press articles and stuff like that. What is going to be the message now this year when a similar thing may happen where you hopefully get off to a good start and then, you know, you got a target on your back, you're expected to do great things. What's going to be the kind of message to the team along the way and maybe some of the things you learned from last year, you know, with that?
Yeah, you know, Mike, you know, one, I mean, expectations to me is, it's just a made-up word. We have our own, so it's not even about that. I don't know that I handled that right last year. You know, in this day and age, you can't stop the adulation of others. I mean, everybody's attached to some sort of device that, you know, people are going to be getting at them. You know, we were at the Eagles game, and they celebrated us between the first and second quarter. You know, really, it's just be present. It's just be in the now. And I think that if these guys can be in the now, if we can be consistent with the way we approach every day, regardless of result, and if each guy, like, kind of pulls out their inner pit bull, you know, that passion that we all have as humans, that's enough. That's the focus. And I will handle that better than I handled it before. There should be no fear of adulation. Whatever we get, we've earned, and the only way that it'll derail us is if we're not present, if we don't stay in the now. And we've climbed through some mud to get here because we've stayed present, and I'm going to make sure that we do that again.
Coach, always appreciate hearing from you. Thanks so much. We're going to have you at a couple of Friday night primetime games at Hawk Hill. Looking forward to that atmosphere, and can't wait to see you this season.